When your child is terrified, your deepest biological instinct is to protect them. You want to shield them from whatever is causing that pain. But when it comes to childhood anxiety, that exact instinct to protect is often the very thing making the fear worse. Children aren't born knowing how to evaluate threats. When they encounter something new or frightening, they look directly at their parents to figure out if they should be in panic mode or if they are actually safe. Because watching a child suffer is difficult, well-meaning parents typically default to one of two strategies to stop the pain quickly. They either tell the child the fear isn't real, or they rescue them from the situation entirely. Our deepest love and our desperate need to make our kids feel better end up driving behaviors that accidentally water the roots of their anxiety over time. The first common reaction is to try and logic the fear away. A parent might brush off a worry by saying, "It's no big deal," or "There's nothing to be scared of," hoping that minimizing the threat will calm the child down. Psychologists call this emotional invalidation. You are telling the child that what they are experiencing internally is incorrect. If we look at the clinical research, like this excerpt on parent-child relationships, it shows that critical parenting, where a parent dismisses or minimizes a child's feelings, consistently undermines the child's ability to regulate their own emotions and increases their sensitivity to anxiety. For the child, this invalidation does not make the fear disappear. Instead, it translates into a message that their internal alarm system is broken, and that feeling anxious makes them bad or wrong. Brushing off the anxiety doesn't turn it off. It just leaves the child stranded alone with their distress, forcing them to experience fear and shame at the exact same time. The second major trap is the instinct to rescue. If the dark room is scary, the parent lets the child sleep in their bed. If a class presentation causes panic, the parent emails the teacher to ask for an alternate assignment. In clinical terms, this is known as family accommodation. These are the physical modifications parents make to their family routines specifically to help a child avoid the distress caused by their anxiety. This text highlights the mechanical failure of that approach. By accommodating the anxiety, parents reduce the opportunities for the child to approach fearful situations. The child never gets the chance to learn they can actually cope with difficult things. When you step in to eliminate the obstacle, the hidden message you send is that the situation is too dangerous for them to handle. You are communicating that you do not believe they are capable of getting through it. By removing the child from the perceived threat, the parent accidentally confirms the child's worst suspicion, that the situation truly was dangerous, and avoiding it is the only way to survive. Often, this accommodation isn't actually about the child's distress. It is driven by the parent's own inability to tolerate watching their child struggle. When a parent reacts to a child's anxiety with their own visible stress or fear, they engage in parental modeling. The child picks up on that tension immediately. Fear acts as a contagion. Research shows that when an anxious parent verbally or physically transmits this kind of threat information, it significantly increases the child's risk of developing a full clinical anxiety disorder. This creates a systemic feedback loop. The child experiences distress, which triggers distress in the parent. To soothe their own discomfort, the parent steps in and removes the threat. This provides temporary relief, but it decreases the child's long-term coping ability, leading to amplified distress the next time, and the cycle repeats. This mutual cycle of avoidance creates a permanent trap, locking both parent and child into a state of shared fear. Escaping this cycle requires moving away from the role of a fixer, who manipulates the environment, and stepping into the role of an anchor, who regulates the emotional space. Anchors rely on emotional validation, the act of showing empathy and reflecting a child's feelings without jumping to a solution, a reassurance, or a rescue plan. Validation requires specific physical actions. It means putting away your phone, making direct eye contact, and showing through your body language that you can remain completely calm while they experience big, overwhelming emotions. You can acknowledge the reality of their fear with a simple, direct script. You say, "It makes a lot of sense that you are feeling upset. That sounds really scary." This creates absolute emotional safety. It proves to the child that you are strong enough to sit in the dark with them, which strips away the danger from the feeling itself. Once the emotion is validated, the hardest step comes next. You have to resist the urge to step in and solve the problem, maintaining your steady presence while the child faces the challenge on their own. Your goal is to project rock-solid confidence in their ability to cope. By holding your ground and not panicking, you are effectively lending your courage to your child. Knowing they are safe and seeing evidence that the feeling of panic isn't fatal, the child is finally free to build their own resilience. They learn they can survive being uncomfortable. We cannot stop our children from experiencing fear, but by abandoning the need to fix it, we ensure